You've seen this movie before. A messy team changing everything in desperation, dreaming of magical solutions. But now the script is different. This time, something has changed, and it wasn't just the talent. It was in the mentality, the foundation, the soul of the project. And that could change everything. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comment. The name of the promise is Tetairoa McMillan, a wide receiver from the University of Arizona, selected by the Panthers with the 8th overall pick in the draft. A talent that many anticipated, but few understood the real impact. According to Pro Football Focus, McMillan was the team's big acquisition in the offseason, and they are partly right. The kid led the FBS with an absurd score of 98.6 on passes over 10 yards in the last 2 years. There were 35 contested receptions since 2023. We're talking about a tall, physical receiver with reliable hands and a separation sense that can change the life of any quarterback. Speaking of quarterback, Bryce finished last season with clear progress. Bolder, more vertical, more confident. So the marriage between these two talents makes sense. McMillan doesn't arrive just as an addition. He is a piece designed to unlock what Carolina has best, the arm of its young quarterback. But despite the obvious shine of this pick, there's something deeper happening behind the scenes. Because the true acquisition of the Panthers isn't in the statistics, it's in continuity. For the first time in a long time, Carolina decided to invest in something that goes beyond immediacy. Dave Canales remains as head coach, Dan Morgan continues as general manager, Bryce Young stays as quarterback, and the core of the roster has been maintained. In other words, the team stopped sabotaging itself. After years of instability, constant changes, hasty decisions, and desperate attempts at rebuilding, the Panthers chose to grow steadily. This, my friends, is rare in the NFL, and it could be the key to something lasting. Now let's look at the real context of this franchise. The Panthers come from a 5-win campaign, weak, unacceptable even. But if you look deeper, you will see evolution. In the last 6 weeks of the season, the offense started to function. Bryce Young showed flashes of the talent that made him the first overall pick in the draft. The offensive line, which has always been a problem, finally showed consistency, and even with a limited group of receivers, Adam Thielen shone as one of the best deep targets in the league. What was missing? Explosiveness, youth, a true number 1 receiver. Now they have that with McMillan. On the defensive side, the team didn't stand still either. 2 new defensive linemen arrived. There were 2 edge rushers selected in the draft, and reinforcements at linebacker and safety positions. All of this indicates a clear attempt to renew the defensive identity without giving up experience. But the most promising point is that even with so many additions, the defensive core remains. J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson continue to be the pillars of the secondary, and more importantly, the tactical scheme remains the same. This allows rookies to come in without having to learn everything from scratch, a rare thing in rebuilding teams. So what can we expect? A revolution? No. But evolution? Definitely. Carolina may not be fighting for playoffs in 2025, but a 9-8 record would be a real step forward, and more importantly, a clear sign that the franchise is finally creating a culture, a way of playing, a plan. Now, here's my opinion, unfiltered. Tetairoa McMillan is indeed a great talent, but if you think he's going to save the franchise by himself, you haven't understood anything. What changes the trajectory of the Panthers is not a player. It's the decision to keep the same coach, the same GM, the same quarterback, and build patiently. It's something that teams like the Steelers and Ravens have been doing for decades. And you know what they have in common? Stability, identity, and victories. The Panthers, on the other hand, have spent the last 7 years swapping everything at every storm. Not anymore. Now they've decided to face the bad weather with the same ship, and that, my friends, is what truly changes a franchise. But there's a warning point. Continuing with the same project only works if there's progress. Patience is only virtuous when it's accompanied by results. And here's my challenge for Dave Canales and company. Show evolution. Make this offense produce. Make this defense compete. Because if the team repeats the mistakes of the past, no continuity will save this roster. Stability is only worthwhile when used to build, not to settle. So Panthers fans, you can finally have hope. Not because a savior has arrived, but because the team seems, for the first time in years, willing to do things the right way. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comment. Until the next video.